Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Accessibility features on the iPad, the next level. There are a lot of accessibility features that are built right into the operating system on the iPad. And what that means is because it's built right into the operating system, it really works across most, if not all, of the apps on the operating system. So there are some real basic accessibility features like the ability to be able to change the text size, to change the icon size, change some of the dark or light coloring, and darken the screen. But there are a whole bunch of other accessibility features that really put a lot of power in the iPad, especially with persons who have specific needs. So we're going to take a look at some of those next level iPad features that are available that a lot of people don't know are in there. First of all, one of the things that you want to do is you want to set up your accessibility shortcut. And basically what this is, this gives you the ability to very quickly and easily to get at your accessibility features without having going to the home screen, to the settings, to accessibility, to turn on the accessibility feature. Also, it's really valuable when you start turning on and off features, that some of the features that make it very difficult to interact with the screen to get back to turning off that feature. So you want to set these accessibility shortcuts, and basically when you have these set up, you can triple click your home button on the older iPads, and on the newer ones that don't have a home button, if you triple click the power button, the accessibility shortcuts will show up. So I'm going to show you where those are at real quick. Okay, so we're going into settings, and we go into accessibility, and we go way down to the bottom of the page, and it says accessibility shortcut, and it says ask right now. So basically what you're going to want to do is you'll see as I tap on each one of these, I can turn these on and off. So I'm going to turn on the magnifier. Let's turn on voice control. Then let's turn on voiceover and zoom for right now. And so now we've actually got these set up so I can actually hit my triple click my home button to get to those apps. And I'll show you that in just a second here when we start showing some of these apps. Okay, so that's the accessibility shortcut. And again, any of those accessibility shortcuts that you think you might use or you're going to use, you can use that triple click home. If you only use one accessibility feature and you only have one clicked, every time you triple click that home button, just that feature will turn on and off. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Magnifier. Magnifier came out a couple operating systems earlier. That gives you earlier than iOS 14, but it gave you the ability to be able to use a magnifier. So if you go into settings, accessibility, magnifier, and turn on magnifier, you'll get to it. However, we set that up as an accessibility shortcut. So I triple click my home button, and you'll see magnifier pops up as one of them. So I'll turn that on, and you'll see now I have a magnifier. Okay, it looks pretty much just like your camera does, right? But it works just a little bit different than that, in that when I slide over here, I can actually snap this screen, and what it does is take a picture of that screen and allows me to zoom in real close. You'll notice what it did a little bit different from the camera app is it actually will clean up those images a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. This is great for if you want to go to a restaurant and you have a hard time seeing that menu. There are some other nice features that are available on this. So if I swipe up here, you'll see I can change the brightness, I can change the contrast if I want to. I can actually turn on the flashlight. I can also take multiple images if I want to capture multiple images and look back at those. But the third one that looks like three little circles allows me to apply a filter, because sometimes it's a little bit easier if there's a filter applied to be able to see some of the letters or some of the words and the characters, whatever I'm magnifying. So it depends. Some people, it makes it a lot easier to have black on white. So there's a lot of different filters that you can turn on and off with the magnifier. This is available on an iPhone if you have an iPhone also. So that's the magnifier feature. The next feature is voice control. Voice control, if you go into settings, accessibility, and voice control, you can actually control your whole iPad just by using your voice. And I'm not talking just dictation. I'm talking about full control of the iPad. There are a lot of commands that are available in there. You can actually go in and you can customize some of the commands. You can teach it vocabulary. You can also have it do specific overlays. So again, to turn that on, we'll go back out again here, and let's turn on voice control. And voice control should open up, and you'll notice in the upper right hand corner there's a little blue microphone that will allow you to be able to turn on and off, or to, it lets you know that voice control is on. So basically all I have to do is say open Write Math. Open Write Math. Go home. Show grid. 6, 3, 1. Tap 1. Go home. Open music. Go home. Open music. Show grid. Tap 6. Go home. Okay, so you won't, I'm going to turn this off here because we don't, the music's playing in the background. Because we're recording, it doesn't allow me to be able to record that audio. Turn off voice control. Tap confirm. So again, now I've took command of my iPad by just using my voice. So all those different commands you'll be able to do, a lot of those things you can do with just the tapping on the screen, you can do with voice control. Okay. Switch control allows you to be able to use the 2 different switches, or 1 switch or 2 switch, to be able to control your iPad. If you can't use your hands to move around the screen, you can use those switches to do. So anything you can do basically with tapping on the screen and interacting with the iPad, you can do with switch control. There's a couple videos that I've done already, so if you want to go take a look at any of those switch control, it'll give you an idea on those switch control videos. Another feature that came out that's little known is that you can use an external mouse, whether it is a USB mouse or it is a Bluetooth mouse. You have the ability to be able to use a mouse now on an iPad. And any type of input Bluetooth device. So if you have a head mouse that uses a dot in the middle of your head to control it, or something like Glass House, which are Bluetooth glasses, you can actually use that to access the iPad. So to find that, you go into Settings, Accessibility, Touch, Assistive Touch. You turn it on. Then you're going to go to Pointer Devices, and you're going to either unpair or unpair devices, Bluetooth or USB. You can bring up a on-screen keyboard. You can use Dwell Control if a student or the person who you're setting up can't use can't click or tap. There's movement tolerances, so if it moves too fast, you can change that. And then you can set hot spots in the corners to do specific actions. And those are all configurable, which is really cool. So to use my pointer device, I'm going to go into Accessibility, and then I'm going to go into Touch and Assistive Touch, and toward the bottom you're going to see where it says Devices. I'm going to plug in a USB device so you can see it pop up. Okay, and now I have my optical mouse, and now you'll see I have mouse control over my iPad. So you can see that cursor moving around, and anything I can do with my that I needed to touch before that I couldn't, or I had to do scanning, now I can actually use my clicker in order to be able to do that. So I can actually use a mouse in order to be able to access my screen. So let me go back, and let's go back to Assistive Touch, and well, I'll actually just unplug the device. Okay, so now the mouse is gone. So any type of a Bluetooth mouse or any type of a USB mouse I want to plug in, I have full access with that mouse also. Really, really cool. Touch accommodations. So if you go into Settings, Accessibility, Touch, and Touch Accommodation, it allows you to compensate for some of the touch issues you may have with students. So again, if they if they drag across the screen and get to a specific item, but they touch a lot of things going there, you can set a hold duration. That means they have to hold onto an icon for a specific amount of time before it will be activated. You can ignore multiple touches. You can also do a first touch or a last touch. So let's say a student gets their finger on the screen and they drag up to the icon they want and they let go. You can set it so when they let go, that's what's activated on the screen. So it really allows you to be able to fine-tune some of those issues where they may be touching inadvertent icons on the screen. Let's say their knuckles touch before they want to touch something, that you can actually have it ignore the knuckles and have it just use the pointer. Live Listen is another feature. This one you'll work with if you have earbuds, and it allows you to be able to use your iPhone or your iPad as a remote listening device. And basically, you're going to open up Control Center and you're going to set it up. Tap on the hearing icon, so it's available in Control Center, and then you're going to configure up or use your earbuds and tap on Live Listen, and you can remote listen with your device. Really, really cool remote listening device. So a student who is maybe a little bit hard of hearing can take their iPad or their iPhone and put it up in the front of the class and listen through their earbuds. Zoom. So if you have a student that has vision issues and needs to be able to zoom in on the screen, there is a feature that will allow you to be able to turn on Zoom. The nice thing about in the previous versions of the iPad or the iOS, it would enlarge the whole entire screen. But now you can zoom in on just certain parts of the screen. When you're zoomed in on the screen, if the keyboard comes up, you can use smart typing. That won't zoom, so it's easier to locate the keys. You get a zoom controller, so you can go, you have many different ways you're going to be able to zoom. And then there are also filters that you can put on there too to make it easier to see. Spoken content, basically what spoken content is, it allows you to be able to highlight text anywhere on your iPad and have it spoken to you. The nice thing with the newer updates, you are able to not only speak selection and speech screen, you also get a speech controller, so you can change the speed of the speech, and you can actually jump back and forth between paragraphs if you want to be able to do that. The other nice feature is that it allows you to be able to highlight content, which means that you can have the lines highlighted either with a color and or underlined. You can also have the words highlighted so it follows along when it reads. Reader is another nice feature that's available in Safari. In the upper left-hand corner of Safari, you'll see the reader icon that will pop up, and what that will do is it will strip out all the content that may be distracting in a web page, and will just focus on the content. So it will get rid of the ads and the links that aren't needed and just strip out and look at that content. Voiceover. A Voiceover is a screen reader for persons who are blind that will allow them to be able to maneuver around the screen and be able to access everything on the screen. A very, very rich, full-featured screen reader for the iPad. Another nice feature is in the accessibility settings is under display and text size are color filters. And color filters are for persons who may have some sort of a color blindness. It will allow you to be able to go in and select the type of color blindness you have, and it will change the icons on the screen and the screen. So let's go back again here real quickly so you can see that. So I'll go back into here, and we'll go into display and text size, and we're going to go down to the bottom where it says color filters. And when I turn color filters on, I can actually choose the different type of color filters. I'm not sure if this is going to record or not, because those are individual settings and not necessarily shareable, but we'll see if it does that. But I can change all the different colors depending on what type of color blindness that I have. And we'll change the icons. So if you take a look on the left-hand side, you'll see them change slightly. And what that will do is it will compensate for your color blindness. So that's color filters. The next one is the support for third-party keyboards. There are a lot of really nice third-party keyboards out there. So if I go back into settings and I go back home to general, under keyboard, you'll see I have a keyboard toward the top. When I tap on that, I can add a new keyboard, and any of those third-party keyboards that I may have downloaded are going to be available there. So example is I'm going to add Keybo, and we'll do English US, and I'll click on Done. So now when I go into a Notes app or something like that, and I tap on here, you'll notice on the bottom left-hand side there's a picture of the globe. If I tap on that, I can switch between my keyboards. So there are a lot of different third-party keyboards that are out there. You'll see super keys, phonetic keyboard, Keybo, which I just showed you, a dyslexia keyboard, a grammar support keyboard. One of the last things I'm going to show you is what's called Siri Shortcuts. And Siri Shortcuts are a series of shortcuts that you can save as icons on your screen. And just show you just some of the options that you have there. So shortcuts are all these basically shortcuts or macros that can be run. So an example is where it says play rock. I would tap on that and it will play rock music in there. There's a gallery that has a whole bunch of different of these Siri shortcuts that you can download. So take a look at Siri Shortcuts, really powerful tool. Those are some of the advanced features in the iPad and the latest iOS. So again, take a look at those.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP education program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.